So, we are live. Let's find out who's meant to be first commander pick. So, Boogie is going to be first commander pick. Boogie is first commander pick. Then oLev. For some reason I seem to have the quality options like just enabled full time now, which I don't know why. I know that you need like a minimum amount of viewers, but I'm not going to complain since that is pretty handy for everyone. It means I can stream 1080p, but people with a connection that can't support it can still watch. Must be getting slightly popular, I guess. So, Boogie, first commander pick against oLev, going to be a best of 3 series between both players. Probably should have cast their previous game. There was a warm-up game between Boogie and Oceans that just lasted about 34 minutes, so Boogie should definitely be warmed up by now. I think oLev has also been playing some warm-up games as well. So we'll find out what these players are going to go for. Caldera's Refinery is going to be the first fixed map of this series, according to the forum posts. When Boogie decides to actually pick something. So, well, while we're taking a look, or while we're waiting for them to actually go through their commander picks, let's have a look at what they can actually pick. Because I keep forgetting what these players have actually got in their roster. So Boogie has got the Force Commander, Chaos Sorcerer, SC. No, I think this was a mistake. It is meant to be Chaos Sorcerer. Otherwise, SC isn't actually a commander. So, Chaos Sorcerer, Farseer, Commando Nob, and Lecter Alpha. Meanwhile, oLev has got his commanders right above, but it's actually TBA. But oLev has got the Chaos Lord, Plague Champion, Lecter Alpha, Hive Tyrant. Actually, no, he doesn't have the Lecter Alpha. I think he's got the Ravener Alpha instead. Sorry. And then he recently swapped out the Lord Commissar for Brother Captain. And it looks like Boogie has disappeared somewhere. Probably gone for another cigarette after that previous game, since it did last 34 minutes. As most people know, Boogie likes to smoke like a chimney, so probably out having another puff, I guess. He hasn't messaged me, has he? No. So yeah. So the winner of this match as well will go on to play against Oceans in the next round of the Losers Series. Following that, if Shoulder Mount's also available as well, then the winner of that series will go on to play Shoulder Mount. And then if I'm available, which I am, and if the players still fancy playing at that sort of time, then I can also play my Losers Brackets final game as well. Winner of that then will go on to face the 10th, so in the Winners Finals, or the Grand Finals, as it is dubbed here. So potentially, if everyone's online, though, Shoulder's currently in Discord at the moment, so Shoulder might be up for playing some games. So we'll probably see. So Boogie is going to go with a Farseer in this first game. And now oLev. As long as oLev doesn't veto, then oLev picks. So players do have the option to veto either a map or a commander. The first map cannot be vetoed as it is a fixed map. If you try to veto the first map, there will be no one to pick the second map, so vetoing cannot be done there. However, the first map picks are generally fairly balanced maps, not really favouring particular factions, or tend to be popular ones that everyone tends to play in their series anyway. oLev going to be going for the Ravener Alpha. Boogie saying he has his money. not really 100% sure what he's actually on about. But nonetheless, got the ESL reporter running. So both players are ready to go. So, including Ocean. So we're going to be jumping into game 1 of this series between Boogie and oLev. Going to be a best of 3 series, unfortunately, not best of 5 because this is the losers side of the bracket. However, it should still be a decent series all around. So on the right hand side, we're going to have Boogie playing as that Farseer, going to be sprinting straight away out of base. Meanwhile, oLev going to be playing as a Ravna Alpha, already burrowing his way from base over to his generator farm. The L has been called to signify it is a league game by both players. Both players have been having a bit of issues with lag recently. I think Boogie's been having issues with his computer lagging, while oLev has been having issues with his network lagging. So, makes things fairly balanced between both players if both their games are lagging at the same time. However, we're also hoping that neither player experiences any issues during the game, so they can actually just play at their very best, and we can see the best that they have to offer of themselves. But so far, just some units fleeting out of these tunnels, or not really fleeting, but coming out of the tunnels. They're not Eldar units, so they don't fleet around. But some spawn mines from oLev. Spawn mines cannot make use of tunnels, otherwise that could could be a lot of fun actually. You could actually get some decent flanks and some spawn mines. So Ravna there, just going to be shooting away at the Farseer. Ravna not quite behind green cover, decides to edge up a little bit closer, make use of that little wall there. Not that the Banshees or Farseer can typically do too much at range. Their Shuriken pistols do lack the kind of range that the Devourer of the Ravna has. But some Homagons on the other side going to be able to chase down some Dire Avengers here. Dire Avengers will just back away. No point on loading that power this early on, as the Homagons will easily tear it down. Not just a single power node for both players so far, as they've gone for a bit of a heavier tier 1 build. But Farseer making their way towards mid. These Dire Avengers getting a little bit caught out as oLev is grouped up quite heavily on this left-hand side. May try and make a push against the power here. We already have one upgrade for these Termagants here. The Toxic Sacs upgrade does increase the amount of damage that they have. Increases their health as well by 10%. But the main key of it is the Crippling Poison ability. It does allow you to snare a unit in place or slow them down by 99% or 90% to the point where it may as well just be a snare, since you can still attack but you just can't really move at all. Cripples you in place, hence the name, but a grenade available already here. For Boogie does have the aspect of the Dire Avenger upgrade. Decent retreat grenade could come in here, but the Homagons are jumping on top. A grenade is going to get thrown down. It's going to catch out these Homagons, dealing some decent damage, but the Banshees are trying to ignore these Homagons, but are taking a lot of damage in the process, trying to chase down these Termagants. Farseer is still fairly healthy. Guide has already been used, and Guide has already worn off by the looks of it. Ravna is going to get tied up there by the Farseer, but some spawn mines coming in. They need to be careful about their destination. Could also affect allied units, but both players are going to back away here. Termagants are going to carry on pushing in a little bit more. This Ravna is going to get forced off the field potentially, but another Toxic Sacs upgrade could come in here at the very last second to lock down that Farseer in place. Spawn mines are quite tanky actually, with 750 HP. The tunnel is getting built here as well, so Homagons could jump back into the fight fairly quickly. oLev did place down a tunnel very early on in his own base, so any additional units that oLev has will be able to make their way into the fight very quickly. He has some warriors on the way. Guardian Weapons team is going to advance a bit further forward. That spawn mine though is going to actually detonate on top of the... Wow, I shout quite loud, these Dire Avengers. Actually is able to detonate on top of Boogie's army. However, these squads are still fairly healthy. Tunnel is going to get cleaned up before any additional units come out of it. And oLev for now just deciding to go back to base to regen up before making a further push. Does have this additional tunnel here that you can try and make use of. So he could try and get a flank against Boogie, or could just try and come through on mid. May decide to just send Homagons down off to the side instead. But triple generators have been placed up there by oLev. Meanwhile, 2 generators have been placed down by Boogie. He's actually going to have all units come out through this tunnel. Homagons are actually going to go off to the right-hand side instead, so the main force will come in from the bottom. Ravna Alpha, though, himself is still in base, just regenning up a little bit more. Warriors going to be equipping themselves with a Barb Strangler that will allow them to suppress infantry with a single shot. Do need to be careful though, because their shot can miss, so sometimes you can always make use of the ground target. If the Banshee's running in a little bit too quickly, you can always anticipate their path and shoot it a little bit closer. But Farseer is going to come in. That Ravner is getting caught out there a little bit. That Ravner is very low already. Ravner is not going to go down. The Banshees, for some reason, decide to ignore him, but Ravner is having to retreat into a Guardian Weapons team. Guardian Weapons team dealing more damage the closer the target is. Ravner will fall. Banshees on top of these Termagants. A nice special from the Farseer knocks these Termagants down. These Termagants are also going to have to retreat here. A nice grenade could come in. Grenade is going to get thrown down. It's going to catch out some additional models, but it isn't going to be enough to wipe any of the squads. Secondary Avenger squad is coming in, but no aspect of the Avenger upgrade for them, so no grenade available. And that tunnel is going to get destroyed here. Warrior is going to be forced to evacuate on the other side of the map now. That Farseer does take a little bit of time per default weapon, not really dealing too much damage there. But Homagons on the right hand side just capping up. Warriors are somewhere, or still in the tunnel by the looks of it. Attack the Warriors must be in the tunnel still. There we go. Now leaving the tunnel, making their way towards the mid-side of the map. The Ravner has been repurchased now, and some upgrades have come in. We actually have the Crippling Talon. Allows the Ravner to slow down units in melee combat. It works on vehicles as well, I believe. It also has the Burrowing Armor, allows him to kind of infiltrate around and can be very annoying against setup teams. Can appear right underneath them and then pop up to knock them over like an actual Ravner squad. Don't believe his vision is obscured at all. I believe you still get full vision when in this particular mode. But there you go. Jumping up on top of that heavy weapons team there. Homagons are coming in, but targeting the Farseer down. That Ravner with the Crippling Talons though, dealing some decent damage on the backline. Homagons are coming in, but Homagons are already taking quite a lot of damage. Some grenades have been thrown down. Homagon's squad is actually going to get wiped. Banshees do take some additional damage because of it. However, it is definitely worth it if you can actually finish off a complete squad. Overall, Boogie is going to be forced off of this engagement, and oLev will be able to gain some map control. It does lose the Homagons in the process, but in favour of map control can work out quite nicely for him. In fact, may even try to make his way over to the generator farm here. Boogie has placed down his third generator now, so his power economy has been a bit further behind, but Farseer is actually making use of the same here, using Farsight and the Warp Gate ability. He's going to try and go in for a counter bash at the same time here. But Ravner burrows into the tunnel there. Don't know if he anticipates some units coming in here. Oh no, Ravner's here actually. Going to be able to pop up on top of this army here. No one noticing the massive mound of dirt here just going around everywhere. Guardian Weapons team has been knocked over, and Ravner is in a bit of a rough position here. I'm not actually sure what the Ravner's trying to do here. He's trying to lock himself into a corner here so the Banshees can't all focus him down, but the Ravner is now going to be forced into a retreat here. Termagant's also trying to force melee against the Guardian Weapons team here, but the Guardian Weapons team is going to be able to set up. oLev goes and evacuate all his units inside the tunnel here. Spirit Stones on the Farseer do heal up the Banshees back up to full HP. Banshees will easily tear down this tunnel, and as much as there is a gate there, and actually it has got a gate in base, so could always try to fall back to that gate, or could always try and make use of the gate as soon as any unit does retreat back to base. Just send them to going for a counter bash. Warriors may have spotted that gate had they walked in a little bit closer to that right hand side, but actually walking there towards mid are going to miss that. Tier 2 for both players though. Boogie is going to be Tier 2 first, and oLev will follow shortly behind. It was requested in Discord that oLev does go for 3 Tyrant Guards, so I'm not sure if he's going to do it in this particular game or if he's going to play the Hive Tyrant in one of the games of the series, and then opt to go for 3 Tyrant Guards. Or he may opt to not go for 3 Tyrant Guards because that is a very expensive build in Tier 2. Dire Avenger is going to be capping up a bit more space. And Ravner's coming in once again. Actually has the Toxic Miasma as well, does allow him to deal AoE damage as well to all nearby units, allowing him to more effectively fight Banshees or any squad with a high number of models or fragile models, in which case Eldar. That Ravner again detects that a little bit Toxic Miasma is going down here, is poisoning the ground nearby. Units will be taking additional damage here. The Barb Strangler going to suppress that Farseer, but the Rune Armourer going to be calling in the Psychic Storm. Termagants are going to retreat away. It does do power melee damage, so even effective against these warriors, and the grenade goes down on top of them. catches out of a few models here. That Ravner is doing work on the back line. Spirit Stone's come in for the heal, but the heal comes in too late. Only one model of the Banshee squad was alive. That's going to be a wipe there for oLev. Losing the Banshees is going to be massive in Tier 2, especially if a Tyrant Guard pops its way onto the field. Ravner Brood are going to make their way here with some Termagants. Going to try and bash some power down to just 2 gens. Going to be down to just 1 in a moment. Fort Spider Squad has been called in. Ravner making another tunnel on this left-hand side. Capillary Tower does go down to boost all nearby Tyranid units, and currently nothing's actually capping the mid-side at the moment. oLev just focusing more on ruining Boogie's economy at this point in time. The weapons team is going to try and set up here, but with the Ravner Brood and Ravner Alpha both being able to burrow and disrupt the Guardian Weapons team, it's going to be a bit of a pain to try and do anything, but Rippers are called in. Ravners do take a defensive burrow here, but these Rippers can also be used to interrupt the Guardian Weapons team here. Units of oLev's going to evacuate inside the tunnel. Tunnel will be destroyed, and oLev just going to be regrouping towards the mid-side of the map. Venom Brood has been called in, but there's no vehicles on the map. However, the ranged synapse that they provide is going to be able to increase the overall damage of oLev's army. That warp gate is going to finally get used. One generator will go down, but the gate is going to be destroyed now in the process of it. Fort Spider Squad does need to make use of this gate. We'll be able to get inside at the time, but there are no additional webway gates on the field at the moment, so the Warsiders will need to make their way from the main base all the way back out again. The Farseer can place down additional gates around the map, and probably should do as well. Unless Boogie is anticipating on getting an Autark at the moment. However, even if you do get an Autark, it's only 150 red, and Boogie does have plenty of red, just needs an additional 2 if he wants an Autark and webway gate, but it's actually going to be a Falcon here, so definitely needs to be placing down some gates where possible. That Farseer taking a lot of damage here. Could have potentially sat behind the green cover and casted that Psychic Storm on top of that army. A nice grenade goes down, actually catch out a decent chunk of oLev's army. Another grenade going to come down, going to prevent any further chase for a small amount of time. Spider's taking a defensive teleport here. These Rippers are just uncounterable right now with the current army of Boogie. Falcon does get cancelled in favour of some Dark Reapers here. Dark Reapers with their plasma damage going to be very effective against these Warriors and Venom Brood, but also needs to be careful of Rippers at the same time. There's not really much to stop these Rippers from getting into the face of the ranged army of Boogie. Farseer needs to be on the field to try and sit and melee them down where possible. And Dark Reapers will be coming out soon. No upgrades on the Farseer as of yet. Gravity Blade could also work out quite nicely. If Rippers come in a bit too close, might be a bit luxurious, but you can always lift up the Rippers. They get a bit too close, allowing ranged army to freely fire there. But still, no generators here for a Boogie. Going to be stuck in Tier 2 for quite some time. Meanwhile, oLev does have enough resources to take up to Tier 3 if he wants to. If he takes up to Tier 3, a Khan effect's going to be the likely purchase. Dark Reapers have now been scouted here by oLev just in the middle of this army here. Bit of an ambitious move here by the Ravner Alphas, taking a lot of damage. It's going to be forced off, but is able to force off the Guardian Weapons team, so there's no suppression available here. Where there are no Rippers, but a Psychic Storm is going to land on top of oLev's entire army. He's trying to split up as much as possible, but these Termagants are just not moving in time here. They do retreat away, and the squad is able to barely escape there. Just 2 models, 30 HP. Warp Spiders have already used their teleports, so they can't try and chase any further. There are some Rippers on the field as well. And Boogie able to get some ground here, is trying to pursue this as much as possible.
The destruction is complete.
Rogue Tower will be torn down. Still some NG shields available on the map, and oLev now taking up to Tier 3. The VP is 301 to 393. oLev has plenty of time to go Tier 3 if he wants to. His generator farm is in a fairly safe position, and he can definitely retain a decent amount of map while he techs up there. But some Rippers are available. Some more Rippers may even get made here, given that it's just a pure ranged army here for a Boogie, with the exception of that Farseer being the only melee units here. Warp Spiders without any sort of cover whatsoever. Do need to be a bit careful, taking a lot of damage here from these Ravners. Units are quite expensive. Rippers are walking past this engagement, just deciding not to take part at all, but Boogie's army is still getting forced off as the Raveners do go in aggressively here. Ravener Alpha is burrowing towards mid, currently undetected at the moment. These Rippers are still going for it, but don't know if they're trying to scout out this Guardian Weapons team. The Avengers are making their way towards mid, but the 2 units alone are not going to be enough. Rippers are going to come in here, do spot that Guardian Weapons team. Webway Gate is also going to get detected here by the looks of it, although Ravener, while burrowed, doesn't seem to have noticed it. However, Warriors and Termagants coming in a bit closer. Grenade is going to land, but actually kind of gets stuck there on the terrain, so it's going to just about miss here. Dire Avengers still backing away. These Rippers are just such a pain right now to Ravener. Going to sit on the entrance of the base here. Fast hit is going to go in here. These Rippers are going to finally get killed, but this Ravener is just still burrowed here. There's no Rangers available for Boogie, so Ravener is free to kind of just sit on top of the army and keep tabs of what is going on. But the Ravener is actually going to unburrow here. Toxic Miasma is going to go down, but the Ravener is taking a lot of damage in the process. Meanwhile, the Psychic Storm goes down on these Termagants once again, but Termagants are going to be able to get out there just in time. Venom Brood tearing down the generator farm. 2 generators were placed down. 1 has already been killed. Spirit Stones heals up the entire army. They're now ready for a fight. The Barb Strangler missing his shot there. Going to make their way towards the high ground, but actually deciding to back away here. oLev retreats his army entirely. Here's Tier 3 is going to have a card effects fairly soon. 525 requisitions stored up and plenty of power to boot. Meanwhile, Tier 3 for Boogie as well. As long as he spots the Khan effects first and decides to not buy a Seer Council, should be in a decent position here. Fire Prism could be quite useful to try and pop down that Khan effects from range. Meanwhile, Ravener's just on that right hand side there. Probably going to get spotted at some point. It looks like Boogie wants to go in for a bit of a power bash here. Groups up quite heavily. Dark Reapers still in the field. Not really seen much use of the Dark Reapers in this game. Don't think they've had much of an opportunity to freely fire at oLev's army. They've been struggling to get into position at times, I believe. Venom Brood though, making their way out base. They are a little bit low at the moment. On 2/3 HP. Do need to be careful about losing models there, as they will cause a synapse knockback. This Ravener is doing just so much work at the moment. Toxic Miasma goes down once again. He's just right in the face of this army. I believe Psychic Storm is still on cooldown for a bit longer. That Ravener is just going to single-handedly chase away Boogie's army. The remainder of the army is just going to start attacking that Farseer as much as possible. Crippling Talon is just doing a lot of work, slowing down these units at the same time. Termagants are now going to finally come into the fight. There are some Raveners somewhere, but the Raveners have actually backed away here. A defensive Psychic Storm prevents any further chase from oLev, giving Boogie some time to reposition his units, get that Guardian Weapons team set up. You know, Raveners actually did get away just about there. Seer Council has been called in using the Farseer's global ability here, but with a card effects on the field, it's going to be a bit rough for the Seer Council to really do too much. It's going to be a Barb Strangler variant, so won't have any melee resistance, so Seer Council could potentially attack it. A Seer Council is still going to lose that fight very poorly. Bright Lance upgrade coming in. Orc Spiders already have, in fact they had their X up, didn't actually have the Aspect upgrade yet, so they're going to get that Aspect upgrade. Does allow them to throw a Haywire Grenade onto the card effects, going to lock it in place, prevents it from firing. Dark Reapers finally dealing some decent damage there, picking off a Warrior model. Spawn Mines are going to join the fight here. Bright Lance Weapons team is firing away. The Carnifex is locked into position there thanks to the Haywire Grenade. Orc Spider's going to defensively attack these Spawn Mines now, and I suppose this Carnifex hasn't been able to do too much in this engagement. There's not much to interrupt this Bright Lance Weapons team here. It's freely firing. The Carnifex is not doing anything about it here for oLev. He's going to lose this Carnifex here. It's still firing away. Barb Strangler shots are quite nice, but Bright Lance Weapons team is able to finish off the Carnifex in the very first engagement here. And Seer Council are destroying everything on the back line. That's a big loss there for oLev. He may now be on the losing side of this game despite a strong early start. Can try and get another Carnifex out, but it's going to take quite a lot of time here. Neither the Ravener Alpha nor the actual Raveners themselves going onto the backline to interrupt that Bright Lance Weapons team. Able to freely fire away at Farseer, able to guide the Bright Lance as well to increase the amount of damage it deals. And there's a rough loss there for oLev. Farseer does get the Gravity Blade out as well now. Can lift up units, 9 units, or 9 Eldar units to free focus them down. This will be used defensively to prevent any melee units from getting a bit closer. Some Raveners are going to go in, but I'm not sure where these Raveners just went. Oh no, they're still here. Just the Ravener Alpha himself burrowing here. Does need to be careful with the Seer Council on the field. Can be easily demolish him. Ravener is going to unleash, misses that one mod, and that one mod bravely jumping in here. Toxic Miasma is going to go down here. That one Seer Council member is going to be able to get away. Spirit Stones should heal them back up once they're back in base. Grenade does go down, is going to be unavoided there by oLev. Does, surprisingly, that warrior model does tank that grenade successfully, but is probably quite low at this point. Meanwhile, Boogie's army is quite massive in comparison to oLev's 88 population to 48 here in total. oLev is saving up for another Carnifex and is running out of time with 166 VPs to 300, and Boogie has a significant VP advantage here. He's going to be able to capture the mid side, we'll be able to buy some additional time, but by the time another Carnifex can be afforded, Boogie may potentially get out of Fire Prism or some other units. Units are going to be able to mostly get out of the gate just in time there. Seer Council going to lead the charge. Raveners going to get onto the back line here. We'll be able to disrupt most units, but the Raveners themselves do need to be careful. Seer Council are jumping onto the Termagants, but should try and focus down the Warriors and Venom Brood where possible. They're worth a lot more. These Raveners losing on the back line there against these Water Spiders. Overall, oLev is forced off, does have the weaker army by quite a bit at the moment. Does have enough resources for a Carnifex, could potentially be trying to get out a Swarm Lord at this point though. With the additional resources saved, does have enough power for one, just needs some additional requisition for it. That Ravener just going to burrow around and be incredibly annoying, could try and go for a cap on Boogie's natural VP just to try and buy as much time as possible, and it's going to be a Swarm Lord purchase here for oLev. Meanwhile, Boogie is getting a D-Cannon team, so could be interesting how this next engagement goes. The Swarm Lord can definitely be disruptive, but we'll see. oLev's army in the rest of senses is a bit pale in comparison to Boogie's at the moment. So we'll see how much damage the Swarm Lord can do. Very effective against infantry since it can drain health from them. But oLev just going to need to buy some time for that. We'll lose his generators in the process, so he'll be unlikely to afford anything else after that. Ravener Alpha getting caught there by some Warp Spiders. Level 2 now kind of needs his Ravener, kind of needs every unit alive, to be honest, given that he has got the lesser army at the moment. But Seer Council and Farseer are going to just lock oLev's army into base here. Seer Council are taking a lot of damage here, but they do take 15% less range damage, so oLev's army isn't going to be the strongest against the Seer Council in this particular case. Some Termagants here. Seer Council healed back up to the full HP there with the Spirit Stones. Grenade is going to go down, although the Seer Council end up eating most of that grenade, knocking the enemy units away from the grenade, but the Swarm Lord is now visible on the map here. Is going to come in. Seer Council decide they don't want any part of this Swarm Lord, not just yet anyway. Bright Lance Weapons team is currently at the generator farm, so may need to rejoin this fight here. Swarm Lord is in a decent position, is kind of uncounterable in its current form. Bright Lance Weapons team though is still there, so the infantry is going to handle that. Meanwhile, Swarm Lord is going to make its way towards mid. Boogie will need to retreat everything and get it into a decent position if he wants to fight oLev now. Grenade is going to go down on top of the Swarm Lord, is going to miss, wouldn't do too much damage anyways. D-Cannon Weapons team is firing away where possible. Gravity Blade going to lift up some Termagants. And a nice D-Cannon shot there onto the back line is going to deal some significant damage there to oLev's ranged army, but our Swarm Lord is freely going around and doing what it pleases. Farseer trying to be that one-man army there. Doing some decent damage though. Swarm Lord unsuccessful in finishing her off. Need one more attack, I believe. Singularity about to go down. I don't think oLev can get there in time to disrupt it. Some Termagants here going to get caught out and will be completely crushed there. Fire Prism is on the way for Boogie, and he's currently at maximum population now, so I don't think he can reinforce all of his units with the Fire Prism on the way out. Spider's taking a defensive teleport hit. Definitely want to lose any models of these where possible. With a Fire Prism coming out and a Haywire Grenade going to go down. Swarmlord will need to be a bit careful. Does get used there, but does have a fairly short cooldown, but 21 VPs for oLev. This is a last second push. The Cannon Weapons team maybe going in a little bit too aggressively there. Is actually able to get out of base just about though. oLev having to rely on keeping Boogie locked into base for quite a bit of time. It has got a triple cap, but it is a bit of a funneled position here, but a bit of a difficult place to keep someone locked in still when their army is much bigger. Swarmlord is doing alright against Seer Council, but Seer Council are quite tanky with 2000 HP. In fact, they're level 2, so they've got some additional HP, 2800. Sorry, they got 2500 no to begin with. The Seer Council destroying everything on the backline. Swarmlord has been infected by that Haywire Grenade. Once again, Fire Prism is just going to kite around. Bright Lance Weapons team did go down actually, so not available, but Swarmlord can just be kited around, has no ranged attack whatsoever. No Rippers on the field to slow down that Fire Prism. The Venom Brood are forced off, getting chased around by the Seer Council. They may even go down here, but Crippling Poison comes in at the last second. Some Raveners going to try and jump into the fight where possible, but Raveners not really able to do too much. 21 VPs still. Raveners will fall in this engagement. Swarmlord is now by itself. It's taken a significant amount of damage thus far, and Fire Prism will only need 2 more shots. Although all the infantry's health is currently being drained at the moment, Swarmlord is healing up, but it's not quite enough. Tyranno Formation going to go down. That High Ranger squad did not stand a chance whatsoever, getting mauled by a Capillary Tower there. That Swarmlord is going to finally die now. Fire Prism just going to run over those Capillary Towers. Boogie going to capture up the mid VP, going to be capturing up the natural VP with some Dark Reapers as well. And with that, that's going to be game 1 there, going in favour of Boogie. Dark Reaper squad getting a little bit low, unless oLev can make a last second push. I don't think that he can though. Does call in and the swarm hit. Some Homguns and Termagants are going to try and fight to their last model hit. Termagants already getting a bit low. D-Cannon Weapons team has been forced off there by a single hero Termagant, forcing melee onto the squad. Fire Prism does go down, but without any unit to actually neutralize the cap. It is actually neutralizing the cap here with some Termagants. It's just going to come in just in time, but we'll need to win this engagement here with just Warriors and a Venom Brood, and that's a bit rough when there's a Seer Council here. And when a Singularity catches out 3 of your models as well. This is it, I think. Venom Brood is potentially going to fall down here. Warriors going to try to ignore as much as possible, trying to go for the natural VP here, but the VPs do tick down as the Farseer caps on the VP. Game 1 is going to go towards Boogie here. Going to have a 1-game lead in the series thus far. So, next lobby is up. Let's get both of these players in and get our next game started. I mean, 5 Carnifexes would have definitely won him the game. A heavier tier 2 would have also been quite good as well. So, players are in. Let's get the other slots closed down for now. Piano is going to give his opinion here. Piano's opinion is that you should stop playing the Ravna Alpha. Calderas Desert is going to be the map. See, with Calderas Desert, I think the Ravna Alpha would have been the better choice here. Calderas Desert's fairly large, so tunnels are really good on here. Boogie Veto or okay? Smoky is not an appropriate response to if he wants to veto the map or not. Unless Boogie wants to calmly think over the map, so it's going to be no veto. oLev command pick first. No, wait. Yeah, oLev command pick. So hero picks do alternate, so whoever was first pick in game 1, they go second pick in game 2. Is oLev anticipating playing above captain on this map? Be interesting if he does. Inquisitorial Stormtroopers and Inquisitorial Operatives are quite good on this map just due to their high mobility. Because it's quite a large map, it's very hard to try and bash power as well, so it can definitely work out well for Brother Captain. Plenty of opportunities for strike squads to flank or get into positions where they can just fight a squad one-on-one because of how large the map is. A lot of units tend to be very spread out on here. You don't tend to group up too much. So let's see, let me just maximize this chat so I can find out what's going on. So Boogie has... let's have a look at his commanders actually and see what would be a good commander pick for a Boogie. Force Commander, Chaos Sorcerer, Farseer, Commander Nob, and Lictor Alpha. I mean, on this particular map I would have said the Farseer would be the best pick, but given that the Farseer has already been played, we won't be seeing her again. Chaos Sorcerer can be quite nice, but on a large map like this, may struggle. I always like the Force Commander against Brother Captain, but it can also be down to personal preference of what you'd pick. Commander Nob can also be fairly decent on this map, just given how open it is. Commandos in the late game can just do plenty of sneaky captures, and Lictor Alpha is just a nice pick all around. So while waiting for a Boogie to finish off that smoke, let's have a look, see what else is on the go. Yeah, Lictor Alpha could be alright on this map. Because it's quite large, plenty of opportunities for Lictor Alpha to go around flank and kind of do what he wants without being detected. You can't have detection everywhere across the map, can only kind of keep it with your main army. Piano asking Picks up Hornback as a reverse Holy Hammer. Can always cast with Hands Moleman. Don't think I've ever casted with Hands before. But could always be done. Unfortunately, game cannot start Redbeard because we are waiting for Boogie to finish his entire pack of cigarettes at this point, I guess. At the very least, you know, just eat them because it's quicker. I don't imagine they probably taste that good to eat. Well, put it this way, if oLev does win this series, we won't have to worry about Boogie smoking again, as he'll be out of the tournament, so we won't have to worry about any extended breaks from him. Considering how often he smokes, he should be able to finish a cig in a minute. I don't think people smoke to improve at smoking to the point where they eat quicker, or not eat quicker, smoke quicker. But maybe more veteran smokers smoke quicker. Who knows? I feel like Boogie, at the very least, if he is going to smoke, should set up a webcam so we can keep tabs on how much he smokes and how quickly he's smoking, so we know that he isn't just plotting his next strategy or something. Unless Boogie is really feeling the pressure and therefore needs 2 cigarettes to release his nerves, preparing into Game 2 of the series. Don't lose to the addict. One would assume that he's smoking the cigarettes, but could also be smoking anything else, I guess. Could be smoking some weed, could be smoking some cardboard, could be, I don't know. What's some other obscure thing you could probably smoke? Marlboro Red takes a while. Does anyone smoke Marlboro Reds? Aren't they like the really old cigarettes? I mean, I know they're probably still around, but like, they're the things that you probably would see in the 60s or 70s, I don't know. Well, Boogie is finally back. He's going to be going with the Commando knob. If oLev does not veto this decision, then I think we should be okay. Always give shoulder an omp slot. oLev is going to veto the commando knob there. That means that Boogie will need to now pick a different commander. And it was oLev that went first, yeah, so... No, Boogie went... Oh, wait. No, because oLev's going Brother Captain, isn't he? So, oLev vetoed. oLev is also tilted as well. Probably why going to be vetoing the commando knob. Just to annoy Boogie in the second game. Boogie doesn't have the option on the Chaos Lord, only oLev does, and I don't think oLev would pick the Chaos Lord after picking Calderis Desert as his map. Dawn of Smoking, Dawn of Salt, Dawn of Boogie picking his commander. Piano is very keen for Boogie to pick his commander. Looks like it's going to be the Lictor Alpha though. There. Both players ready. I would do a poll, and should do a poll, but I keep forgetting to add it in time. Maybe I can quickly add it now. See how quickly I can get this ready to go. Might help if I try and copy and paste from the right keyboard. Let's see how this works anyway. Okay. Okay, well, that poll isn't going to work for now, so I'll probably try and set that up if we go to a game 3. But, moving on into the game though, we've got the Lictor Alpha starting on top side here for a Boogie. Going to be coming in with this quite nice colour scheme actually, I quite like that. Meanwhile, oLev on the bottom side of the map with no colour scheme, just going to be using the standard Blood Ravens one. So, going to be a mass Homagant build here for Boogie. Not 100% sure how this is going to work out though against GK. Strike squads are going to be quite adept at fighting in melee combat. And it looks like oLev's also going to be going for a double strike squad build, so this could go quite poorly. Strike squads with their high melee skill and decent specials could be quite disruptive against these Homagants, could essentially farm them for experience quite effectively. However, at the same time, if the strike squad does get overwhelmed with Homagants, it can lose models and can go south quite quickly. But straight away, I do see the Nemesis Force upgrade on this strike squad. ISTs with their high movement speed as well, going to be able to avoid Homagants fairly well. With their high burst damage as well, going to be very effective at picking off models. There's not much cover on this map as well. So we'll see how this goes down for a Boogie. Lictor Alpha going to be pulling in a strike squad model. Homagant's going to be jumping onto that strike squad, but I believe they will lose this engagement. Some more Homagant reinforcements are going to be coming in here, but the Brother Captain is chasing them down. ISTs will get disrupted here. Second Homagant squad has been forced off here, so... But these IST are going to get caught out by some Homagants. Will be forced into a retreat, but not really able to get too many models here. Well, actually, saying that, it does get 3 models, so that's quite good. Is able to actually pick off all the models which were missing health. These 2 models are full health currently, so very fortunate there for a Boogie to pick off the right one. Some warriors going to be coming out, going to provide melee synapse to these Homagants, going to provide some additional health and damage in combat. Or I believe they provide health anyway. Might just be damage actually with the basic synapse. I do need to have a read on the codex at some point and remember, because I do forget. But Brother Captain going to be absolutely overwhelmed here, although a special comes in, just knocks away all the Homagants there. A sword is glowing, but no other specials. So what you can do in a situation like this where your commander is on its own fighting, you can keep your commander behind some green cover, say here for example, to try and limit the amount of units that can surround your commander. It's a very small thing, but it's not always worth it, as you may take additional damage trying to get into such a position. But just something to keep in mind when playing. Strike squad is going to be forced off here. Inquisitor operatives have been purchased as the second unit here for oLev. They are detected units and do have some decent damage there with their shotguns. But at the same time, Lictor Alpha and Warriors can just easily walk up to them. There's nothing to really stop them from getting close. Lictor Alpha, though, is a bit aggressive here in base, but does knock over those operatives, allowing the Homogons to actually tear down this power node. And oLev, without that Brother Captain, definitely going to be feeling that loss for a little bit. However, second set of Inquisitorial operatives coming out, these operatives will be very effective at picking off Homogon models. Mind Blades has been used, increasing the melee skill up to 80, so they will be specialing these Homogons all day, all long. But the Homogons do pick up a model and are able to retreat with only a single model lost themselves, so having a quite effective trade here. But Mind Blades has been used and no longer has the additional red for a second set of Mind Blades there. Now IST just picking away at some Homogons. Going to be very annoying to lose a fully matured requisition point like that, but we'll see if oLev can actually regain some decent map control with these double operatives on the field. Brother Captain has just been repurchased as well. Going to be stomping his way back onto the field. Does mean that oLev's generators are going to be a bit delayed here. It does need a power node and 2 more generators. Would have had enough requisition for that had he not lost the Brother Captain and not been forced to repurchase him. Meanwhile, meanwhile Boogie has actually got triple generators himself. Brother Captain going to end up fighting some Homogons here. These Homogons going to try and ignore him as much as possible. Looks like they're trying to go in for a flank on that strike squad. Some operatives are coming in, have a bit of an awkward retreat path here, having to go through these Homogons. But a special there from the Brother Captain does force them into a retreat. Some well-placed incendiary grenades could go down here in this little choke point to prevent any further chase from Boogie. Can throw one here, can try and burn down the ground. Brother Captain's getting caught out there a little bit, but it's still fairly healthy. But as long as he keeps skirting the edge of this, can always try and fight there, as units can't get a full surround on him, as he will have some cover behind. But Lictor going to pull in one of these operatives, but the Lictor's actually going for a decap on the power there, so that one operative model is in a fairly decent position. Brother Captain is taking a lot of damage and will need to back away here. Does get a nice special, and that's going to be his opportunity to back out of the fight once Strike Squad does come in to take over. Warrior model does get a knockdown on the Strike Squad here. And they will be able to chase away a bit further, and the map is looking a bit red at the moment as these operatives and Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are just capping up a decent chunk of the map here. I'll see the fallback plan getting purchased here for these operatives. So Power Sword upgrade has come in for the Brother Captain, which does improve the Battle Cry ability, but doesn't really provide much else. The additional damage is probably not going to be that useful. What is this, though? Well, these Homogons are dead. That is really unfortunate for Boogie. Homogons are unable to do anything at all. Homogons coming in with the largest leap in the game seen so far, I believe. They're just going to remain there, and Boogie's unfortunately just lost a squad to these Homogon. So these Homogons just being a bit too aggressive there. Brother Captain is going to go and does have the Nemesis Force. Aegis is able to use his NG as a shield, however, that NG has now run out, but the Power Sword with its additional damage going to be slightly useful against these warriors. Maybe able to pick off one of these warrior models. They are so low, but the Brother Captain is unsuccessful in doing so. He is going to chase in a little bit further, but still not getting the model that he needs. Strike Squad is going to come in for a bit of assistance. Brother Captain, though, going to turn that NG shield back on, and with the Strike Squad coming in for a bit of assistance, should be in a decent position to win this. Mind Blades has been activated, going to increase the melee skill and damage of the Strike Squad, and they should be able to get some specials here. Brother Captain is going to leave the engagement. The special did not come in just in time there, and that second Brother Captain loss there for oLev is definitely going to be painful. Is not going to be able to get the Lictor Alpha in return for this. If he had got the Lictor Alpha in return, that could have worked out quite nicely, but Homogons still on that right-hand side. I can't even see them on the minimap. They're so far off to the right-hand side. No way of them retreating. I don't think units can attack up either to finish off the squad. And Warriors coming in with their adrenal glands already. It's going to provide some additional synapse benefits to these Homogons. And Boogie is making his way towards the right-hand side. I don't know if he's going to go on a rescue mission to help these Homogons, but they're going to be stuck there for the remainder of the game. At least it's only 2 models, I suppose, at the very least, but interesting. oLev, though, still a little bit behind, is not tier 2 himself, is only on 90 power as well. Brother Captain is still dead in base. Optive's going to start tearing down these Humagons, though. And this little force together, when they're grouped up, can be quite brutal, especially with these warriors having only 800 HP, not being full health. Can do a decent amount of work. Double incendiaries can demolish these Humagons if they do sit on it for a bit too long. Bo3 tower that she's placed down is going to go down already, and decent amounts of map control here for oLev. I suppose this is in part due to the Armagon squad loss, though. Some Gene Stealers are going to get purchased here, and the Strike Squad is definitely going to struggle against Gene Stealers with their high amounts of power melee damage. We'll see, though, what oLev decides to buy in tier 2. A Rhino could be quite brutal. oLev does have enough resources to tech up now and should definitely start taking up to tier 2 as soon as possible. Incendiary Grenade can go down here. There's a little nice little choke here. Operatives, though, are going to be a bit delayed there. Stun bomb did go down, though, which did slow down a bit of extra chase there. And oLev going to be forced into a massive retreat there, getting a lag spike in the midst of that engagement. Definitely not time where you want one. But he's going to be taken up to tier 2 himself, but the generator farm may actually go down as a result of losing that engagement quite hard. Pheromones is going to go down, allowing the Homagons to reinforce on the field. Brother Captain is going to stomp his way back out of base, and the operatives are going to follow suit. Incendiary Grenade is going to go down here. Which, I'm not sure if it deals friendly fire damage to your generators, but I imagine it probably would. Second grenade is available for these operatives as well. These Homagons taking a lot of damage here, and will be staying in the fight maybe a little bit too long. Gene Stealer's going to go back in, really keen to finish off that generator, but unsuccessful in doing so. And overall, probably not worth losing all these additional models just for the power node here. If you got the generators, it would have been quite nice, but that did not go down too well. But a Rhino purchase to give some additional map mobility would be really nice here, I think, although Shoulderman has said Purifiers. I think Purifiers would also be quite nice, but at the same time with Gene Stealers on the field, something ranged might be quite nice to just kite around a Rhino with the assault cannon on top, I believe it's called. Would be quite nice. Is it assault cannon or is it called something else? Or it's like the heavy bolter. The heavy bolter upgrade would be quite nice there, just to go around, pick up some models. There's going to be a Terminator Librarian though. Smite ability can be quite nice against these warriors dealing power plasma damage or power melee damage, I can't remember. I think it's plasma damage because it doesn't deal much damage on retreat, so it must be plasma. So we'll see how that goes down. The operatives and Inquisitor Stormtroopers going to tear down one generator, but this mass melee force is fairly scary. Don't want any part of that though. Gene Stealer's back on 6 models there. That one model was a bit behind, so I was missing it. Incendiary Grenade goes down, but maybe dealing a bit more damage there to the operatives as opposed to anything else. Another grenade is going to go down there. With some stun bombs to slow down the units, and operatives going to be forced into retreat. Stormtroopers also forced into retreat as well. Tier 3 though for a Boogie, so Carnifex could make its way out soon. Could also be a tier 3 Lictor for some additional map control, but unlikely to see that. But Librarian going to smite on top of that melee army. These warriors are a little bit low. You need to be very careful. Gene Stealers are not in the engagement here. They're busy tearing down a power node. So Librarian leading the strike squads here, going to be fairly brutal. Boogie is trying to buy some time with these Homagons as much as possible, but is losing a lot of models in the process. These Gene Stealers are kind of just sitting here, not really helping out at all. And we'll see what tier 3 does bring for a Boogie though. You know, checking in on the Homagons, they are still there, still kind of just chilling out, and oLev is gaining a lot of map control at the moment. With this little push here, is a little bit behind, or sorry, a little bit ahead on VPs, but not by much. And the strike squad may be a bit too far here. Going to have to back away. They will be able to get this generator, but will be forced into a retreat. We do see the slowdown here coming in from the Justica, but Killer Tower is going to go down. The Terminator Librarian might be able to corner off this little entrance here with the bubble. And is actually denying any sort of entryway here. quite a nice little position to use that ability. However, at the same time, units can just walk around it. Strike Squad, though, is fairly tanky. He is able to make it out there without losing any models. The Librarian himself is also fairly tanky at 900 HP. Unlikely to die when he's full HP, even if he is retreating away there. And Stormtrooper is going to be receiving some Plasma Gun upgrades. Also have a Sergeant to lead him. You see the Overcharge Shot there going in, going to suppress those units down for a brief moment. Frag Grenade also going to be thrown there by the Sergeants, but Gene Stealers are still fairly healthy with 5 models and will be able to heal on hit, so we'll see how they do there. But point blank smite there by Terminator. Librarian. Rebel Captain is swinging away on the back line, is able to pick off one of those Warrior models, causing a Synapse knockback there. And Rebel Captain actually doing a lot of work there with these specials coming in. He is level 3, so does have that slight additional melee skill. And these Warriors, again, so low, but will be able to get away there. Gene Stealer's also taking quite a lot of damage in the process. Lictor is coming in here. Lictor is fully upgraded, does have the Siphon Talon, so dealing a lot of power melee damage here. But not going to be enough to finish off that Brother Captain. But tier 3 for Boogie does have enough resources soon for a Carnifex. So we'll see what sort of difference one of those can make. oLev is going to be going tier 3 as well. Boogie asking if he can kill off the Homogon squad. I don't know if oLev can kill it off, because it's in such an awkward position. I'm not 100% sure. Inquisitorial operatives are going to infiltrate here, may make their way over to the dead units over here, or the Homogons that are kind of just sitting in top. I don't know if you can enter the building, but I imagine Boogie's probably tried doing that as well, to no success. But a lot of requisition here for oLev, 750 in fact. Should probably place down an additional power node at this point in time. Doesn't have enough red for Paladins at the moment, but some Terminators could be quite nice with their power melee, being more effective against infantry. Also having the Holocaust ability, which allows you to lift up enemy units. Overcharge Shot is going to suppress these Gene Stealers, but overall oLev's army is going to be forced away here. Some Homogons going to try and chase to their best possible ability, but going to be unsuccessful in chasing in too far. And some Homogons just on the right hand side, just going to be capping up the map here. And going to start seeing some of these larger units from both players. Boogie does have enough for a Carnifex, but has not started to produce one as of yet. Meanwhile, oLev does have enough for some Terminators, but again, has not started to produce one as of yet. Don't know if both players may be waiting to see what the other person is going to buy before making their tier 3 purchase, make sure they're going to purchase the right thing. However, they will need a unit at some point. Librarian just going to go in, start smacking away there. Going to protect this power node, but the 2 models here at the very edge are going to be able to protect that or take it down. Meanwhile, Warriors capping up, and Boogie is very far behind in VPs, 113 to 314. We'll need that unit out soon. It's actually going to be a Swarmlord purchase here instead of a Carnifex. I feel like a Carnifex may have been the better option here, but we'll see what the Swarmlord can do. It does allow you to reinforce units on the field, so maybe anticipating that would be the better choice. Now, given that Terminators are on the way out, any sort of heavy vehicle this late in the game is going to do wonders, as Terminators only deal power melee damage, even if it is quite a lot of power melee damage. So with oLev not being able to get the Paladins out onto the field, either a Carnifex or a Swarmlord will be a good purchase nonetheless, but we'll have to worry about these Terminators when they kill all the infantry surrounding the Swarmlord. Meanwhile, very late game power bash is going to come in from oLev. Power bashing is still worth it this late in the game because neither player has really got much power banked up, so always worth taking down where possible. Incendiary grenade going to be thrown down, going to be even more effective due to the Cavalry Tower kind of blocking off this little path here, and Librarian also enforcing that the units will need to go through the incendiary grenades burning there on the ground. Some operatives though going to get caught out there, forced into a retreat. And the Overcharge Shot going to suppress the army there, catching out 3 squads there with that frag grenade going to go down. Really nice frag grenade, in fact, actually catching out a lot of key units there. However, is not going to be able to stop the Tyrannid Swarm as it comes in hard here. Just jumping onto as many units as possible, but Swarmlord out onto the field. plenty of requisition for reinforcements as well. But at the same time, Terminators have landed onto the field. No upgrade for them as of yet. The Flamer upgrade could be quite brutal against all these Hummergons and Gene Stealers, as they are just regular infantry. Swarmlord has also been spotted here by the Brother Captain, but Terminators are still making their way forward despite seeing the Swarmlord here. Terminators can retreat away, can also teleport away to safety, but these Terminators are just going to jump into the fight nonetheless. Going to teleport to safety though. Swarmlord is going to try and special one of those models, but one of those models for some reason not teleporting away with the rest of the models. Incendiary Grenade does go down, as well as an overcharge shot, and both of those are going to miss. Swarmlord is draining the life of all nearby infantry. Terminator Librarian coming in onto the backside, but going to be able to win the fight against these Hummergons, but some Gene Stealers coming in here. Strike Squad is also here as well, though the Strike Squad is incredibly split apart. In fact, that Swarmlord is just freely hitting everything right now. oLev is saving up enough resources for a Paladin squad. By the looks of it, does have enough resources to drop one down. I believe it's only 300 red with 150 power and about 600 requisition, or something similar to that, so you should have enough to drop down Paladin squad. There are a second set of Gene Stealers here as well, but I'm not sure how these Gene Stealers are going to do with Terminators and Paladins on the field at the same time. Now Inquisitor Operative Squad is getting absolutely demolished there by double Gene Stealers, and here are the Paladins on the field. Paladins, unlike Terminators, unable to retreat away here. We'll see how they can do here. There's a lot of power melee on top of them right now. There's no support for them at the moment. Warrior model does fall, causing a Sems knockback, and we do have a strike from the Paladins, but not really dealing enough to these Gene Stealers as they are healing on hits here. Holocaust ability from Terminators needs to come in to lift these Gene Stealers up to prevent them from attacking. The Swarmlord is just still full HP, just still swinging away there. Paladins are going to teleport to safety, but they've taken so much damage here, and Gene Stealers are still chasing in. 10 VPs for Boogie. Things are going to come down to the VPs. A Terminator model has just fallen there. Librarian is going to cast down the bubble. Boogie cannot afford to retreat away from this fight, so good thing he can reinforce from the Swarmlord here. As long as the Swarmlord remains alive, that's going to be the key units in this game to turn the tide here. A massive push from oLev at the moment. There's a Lictor trying to prevent these Inquisitorial Stormtroopers to get decap there, but in fact oLev kind of realizing this is going to go in for a full decap at this point in time. Lictor successfully defends the right hand VP, is chasing away the Inquisitorial Operative Squad, and all the units are just going to go in for a capture here. If oLev can secure this even just for a little bit, it might be enough, but Incendiary Grenades going down. These Gene Stealers are taking a lot of damage, and Boogie is lacking the requisition to reinforce these units. Paladins will fall, Terminators will fall. Terminator Librarian still stands here. Surround formation does go down, but might be a little bit too late here. Lictor is going to try and go in here on this Terminator squad, but the bubble on top of the VP is going to be a bit too much. It looks like oLev is going to be able to secure this win here. Swarmlord going to try and go in for a capture, but he cannot capture units, VPs. That does take the series 1-1. And that does mean we're going to go to our third and final game of the series in just a moment. Also, Rasket, I came back maybe a couple months ago now. I think I've been doing games for a couple of months again. Oh, GK Terminators don't retreat anymore. Okay. I thought they still did. Thank you for the subscription, Rasket. Let's get the third game on the way. I believe Oceans is still available as well, so we should be able to move on to our next match, assuming the player that wins this series is up for playing some additional games as well. And I lose Ferrin. While the squad was bugged, Boogie probably would have been best saying something at the time because the game carried on, he wouldn't be able to now turn around and say that he wants a rematch because of the Holmagon squad bug. I think had he said something at the time, I think oLev would have probably agreed to a rematch. Where's Boogie in this lobby? Has he gone for another cigarette? Or... let me also jump out of... Whoops. Let me also move out, rather. And let's Boogie actually jump in to play the game. Let's get these other slots closed because there's not one else really observing the games at the moment. While we're waiting for Boogie, actually, let's see if we can get this poll thing to work on Twitch. And here is the man himself. So, in fact, before I do that, let's sort out the players themselves. So, Boogie is now first commander pick, and also first map pick. So, Boogie picks map, then commander, then oLev picks commander. That is the current order for this. So, for anyone who's kind of just jumped in, person on top side of the bracket picks their commander first, and then the picks do alternate between both players as the series progresses. Loser does pick the map after the first one was a fixed map. So Cyril Frontier is going to be the final map of this series, unless oLev decides to veto it. By okay, maybe this will work. I have no idea how I can get people to vote on the poll. So still waiting for oLev to pick the map. I think you can just type in the player's name or something. Type in numbers 1 or 2 to vote. Wait, what? Okay, so you can just vote like that. Cool. Right, let me actually keep an eye on the in-game chat, so... I don't think oLev is going to veto this particular map, so I think we're okay here. Maybe you do need to type out the full name. This is like the first time you're using this poll thing, so maybe not the most ideal. Oh, maybe numbers do work, I don't know. Apparently voting free counts as a vote, despite it not actually being a result. So, oLev, are you okay with Cyril Frontier, or do you want us to veto? He vetoed a commander, but has not vetoed a map at the moment, so it looks like we're fine for that. So we'll keep voting 1 until it gets to 69%. Probably need quite a few votes for that, I'd imagine. Make the poll. Wait, what? The scale's down. Okay. I should probably play with that at some time. Okay, oLev is okay with the map. He now needs to... who did I say? Boogie needs to pick his commander. Commander cannot be vetoed in this particular case, as oLev has used his veto. So far the votes are split 50-50. 4 votes for oLev, 4 votes for Boogie. Anyone else wants to jump into the vote, please do. Force Commander. oLev does have one NIDS commander remaining, does have the Hive Tyrant available, does also have the Chaos Lord, Plague Champion, and... No, that's it actually, because he's already used 2 commanders, hasn't he? Boogie is not overly happy about the Plague Champion being available as a pick by the looks of it. But I don't think the Plague Champion does massively well on Silver Frontier, just because it's quite an open map. Oh, Boogie going to be going for the Force Commander hit. Don't think Boogie remembers that he's still got a veto as well. Since he didn't use the veto earlier, he can also veto the Plague Champion. But even then, could always go the Chaos Lord as well. At the same time, oLev may also opt to go for a Hive Tyrant anyway. So oLev already used his Commander Veto, is unable to actually veto at the moment. So oLev's asking you'll veto the Blade Champion. So all vetoes, with the exception of one map veto, has been used in this particular series. This is the final game. So vetoes, might as well get them all out there. Can't tactically veto anymore. For formality's sakes, Blade Champion has been picked. Boogie has now vetoed the Blade Champion. All done by the books. And oLev going to go for the Chaos Lord actually. Does Boogie not realise that he's got the Chaos Lord as well? Oops, Lord Commissar was swapped. But I don't think the Chaos Lord is too bad, to be honest. More clearance. Like, I think that's really the right way to use clearance. But anyway. Oh, Commander Knob versus the Chaos Lord. Boogie is going for a smoke. Maybe I should update this post. Should Boogie stop smoking? Well, I'm going to end this poll with more votes in favour of oLev. People are thinking that oLev is going to win. Let's do this then. While we wait for Boogie to play. Boogie to get back, rather. There's a lot of chat in this particular lobby. So 1 vote for just eat the entire pack of cigarettes, smoke at the PC to save at times, now come in with another vote. So, we're just taking a 5-minute break for anyone joining in, just waiting for our players to ready up. Or I say players ready up, players to finish smoking so that other players can then ready up. Once they are ready, we'll be jumping into Game 3 of this series, and then the winner will go on to face Oceans 8 Alaska straight afterwards. Assuming that Oceans is happy to play, and assuming that the other player, oLev or Boogie, is ready to play. Winner of that will then go on to face Shoulder Mount, assuming Shoulder Mount is still going to be here as well. Winner of that then will go on to face me, and then winner of that will go on to face the Tenso, and Tenso's currently in chat, so maybe Tenso's up for games today. Maybe we can finish the entire Division B today. We've only got 5 series to get through, and we're nearly through the first one. Where's the option to smoke weed? I did not provide that option. I cannot add options mid-poll either. We'll keep tabs on your option, Hans. We'll just have one option for smoke weed, and we'll make that option 5. If anyone says 5 in the chat, we'll keep a mental note of that secret option 5. No option to smoke asbestos. Yeah, that's true. I did not add an option to smoke asbestos, but again, we can keep a mental note of that. It's okay. Tenso can't play today. Still got loads of other games to get through anyway before we get to you. This does rely on if we can get all the other games played today. Bigots hating on asbestos. So, Boogie, where art thou? If I get like a Dawn of War 2 theme poll, apparently you can change the themes on here. Maybe I'll just leave it with the default one and see if I can get a different one made or something. I inject my asbestos. I mean, that does get it into your system a lot quicker, you know. Smoking cock. Rostam, if you want to vote in the poll, you just type in the option in the chat. You can either type in 1, 2, 3 or 4, or you can type in the full sentence, like eat a pack of ciggies. There is no link to the poll as such, unless you want a link to the software that I'm using, which is just poll.ma.pe. So, it seems like the general consensus is to either stop smoking or to just eat the entire pack of cigarettes. Either option would definitely get us into Game 3 a lot quicker. If Piano wants a spot, Piano can have the spot. There is a spot open for you, Piano, if you are still on the chat there. Which you are. 6 smokers take too long, that bomb hit is quicker. Well, I can't really speak from experience, but I'll rely on you hands to guide us the way. LSD. I mean, I suppose much quicker to consume because it's just a small strip that you eat. But actually it looks like Boogie's here. In fact, he's readied up and he has said no in the lobby, so oLev and Boogie if you're ready. So just waiting on oLev to ready up and then we can get this game started. Oh, there we go. So players are ready to go. We're going to be jumping into game number 3 in just a moment. Real ass smoke cardboard. Yeah, cardboard is definitely good, especially if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription. You can get plenty of cardboard if you just keep ordering some random stuff. So, poll is going to end with 3 votes on stop smoking, 3 votes to eat the entire pack of cigarettes. But Boogie, don't know if he'll go for either option in this particular case, but jumping into our third and final game of this series, Boogie going to be rocking a commando knob there with the SPL clan logo. Going to be starting off with the double shooter build most likely in this game. Meanwhile, oLev on the right hand side is going to be using the default skin of Chaos, which is the Black Legion one potentially. Not 100% sure on that logo, but I believe it is the Black Legion skin, but someone else can also correct me in chat if that is the incorrect one. So oLev going to likely be going for a double CSM build on this particular map, but going to be going for double heretics. Doesn't mean that you can't get a second CSM squad out later. Noise Marines also going to be a really effective choice here for both bashing power and also for doing plenty of damage to these shooters. Noise Marines with their noise gun is able to, I can't remember what it's called, like the full name of it, so I'm just going to refer to it as a noise gun, is able to silence enemy units, preventing them from being able to fire back or use abilities, but do have fairly short range, so can be vulnerable to sluggers. Command Knob is going to infiltrate in here, going to try and force melee. These sluggers do come in for a bit of assistance, but the Chaos Lord is being incredibly annoying on the backside of the line here, doing some decent damage to some shooters. Likely to see a combi flame from him does increase the Chaos Lord's range damage by a considerable amount, doing 30 DPS per second. CSM are going to sidestep that stun bomb quite cleanly there. Sluggers are so low at the moment, are going to fall to the Chaos Lord. At the same time, Heretics have been wiped in retaliation there. Early losses for both players. They're losing their initial starting squad is more beneficial to oLev, as a Heretic squad only costs 200 requisition as opposed to the 270 requisition of Boogie's Slugger squad. Meanwhile, while all this has been going on, a single Heretic squad has been going around the map, capping up. But Heretics are going to come in for the Commando Knob here. Commando Knob can do okay in melee, but more effective at range, can easily pick off models there with his custom shooter. But can also make use of this building here. Heretic's going to be unable to really do too much there. Meanwhile, Chaos Lord is capping up the map. Overall, the fight we're going pretty good for oLev. Able to win the trade by 70 requisition in terms of scores lost, and able to cap up the map as well while the fight was going on at the same time. Some Raptors are going to get purchased by oLev. Kill the Weak will go down. So able to catch out 3 models there, so able to heal about 150 HP there. Is going to still be forced into a retreat, and these Raptors can definitely wreak some havoc on the back line, but still need to be careful of sluggers. Very effective with their regular melee damage, can also be upgraded with the burners. Does give 2 models power melee, more effective against heavy infantry, and later on in the game when the Lord Leader comes out for the sluggers, dealing 65 power melee damage, I believe, which is an incredible boost to their damage. And Raptors, even with their aspiring champion, are still going to struggle to stand up to a fully upgraded slugger squad. But in the early stages of the game, they are going to be incredibly effective though, with their old style jump packs. I do like this particular style. Does look cool. But Commando Knob capping up the center of the map. Some looters are going to get purchased here, but looters may get cancelled once Raptors are seen on the map. Could also get a Pain Boy in this particular case, but Pain Boy is also vulnerable to the Chaos's armor in tier 2 with the Drain Life ability, where you can lock down a single target. Looters back out onto the field now, and Heretic's been upgraded with the Aspiring Champion. Aspiring Champion does provide an additional 300 HP of his particular model, also provides the squad with an overall 20% damage boost, so sluggers not really wanting any parts of that are going to back away without any additional support. They can't really win the fight very effectively. So especially given that Sluggers cannot special the Aspiring Champion or the Heretics in general. But Lucis firing away. Raptors is going to jump in for some assistance. Chaos Lord decides to back away and then turns around as soon as the Lucis are forced off the field there. Shooters trying to do what they can. One squad has been upgraded with the bigger shooter upgrade. The second squad has not been upgraded as of yet. And Chaos Lord and Raptors maybe chasing it a little bit too far here, going all the way into the base. Commander Nob is trying to cap around the map as much as possible, and Heretic squad has been replaced there. That second one is unupgraded thus far though. That particular barrel is just getting screwed over by these shooters, but overall not going to have much of an impact in the game. No Nob leaders for these shooters as of yet. Nob leader can provide some additional damage and tankiness to the shooters, which can be quite nice, but also means that you have to go for a bit of a heavier tier 1. Stun bomb does go down on these heretics. Commander Nob is forced away there. With the masses of melee, Kaboom in tier 2 could be quite nice against these double heretics. Some stick bombs could also work out quite well if the Commander Nob is going to be off to the side and going to be fighting heretics the majority of the time. So if the heretics do get surrounded on Commander Nob, you can always throw some stick bombs at the feet of the Commander Nob, allowing you to potentially skip the squad or at the very least do some significant damage and force them away. Raptors taking a lot of damage there. No combi flamer as of yet for this Chaos Lord. Sluggers, I think that Boogie could have won that engagement there. As much as Raptors were on top of the looters, the Sluggers could have easily turned around against these heretics, which are only at 400 HP. Once winning the engagement against these heretics, could have then turned on these not on these looters, but turned towards the looters and then fought the Raptors. That's where I was trying to go with that statement. Going to be a Pain Boy coming out as well. It's going to be a very heavy tier 1. Meanwhile, oLev is going to be very close to tier 2. In fact, has nearly got enough resources to tech up himself. We'll definitely need to be a bit careful about this. Commander Nob needs some decent damage. The last model there of the Aspiring Champion Heretic squad is going to be killed. The Aspiring Champion himself, though, will be able to get out of the fight fairly easily, and a lot of map control towards oLev and tier 2 for oLev. Boogie will need to make good use of this Pain Boy in this upcoming fight. We need to either get a lot of map control, we need to bash power, or we need to make something happen. He's only got a single generator himself, needs to place down some additional generators, otherwise oLev is going to have a massive advantage over him. Shooters will need to be careful. Sluggers and the Pain Boy are a little bit far away to assist quickly. But shooters definitely need to poke down as much as possible and maybe make a joint push against this power farm before a Blood Crusher comes out into the field and forces Boogie into a mass retreat here. Boosters are set up to defend this VP here, and Boogie has got the VP advantage. As long as he can keep a VP advantage, he will have additional time to sit back in base, but does need to be careful about spending too much time in base. Heretics are coming in, Sluggers are not close enough. Sluggers do need to make their way up a little bit here. One of these is trying to protect a bit too much area here at the moment. Some Sluggers and the Pain Boy are going to go in for these Heretics here. Looters are now out of position. These Sluggers will fall back here, but Heretics are allowed to come up a little bit closer. Pain Boy should turn on these Heretics at the moment. It looks like the heal has already been used. It's already on cooldown here. It's a bit of a brutal fight here. The Slugger's getting knocked over by the Commando, and by the Chaos Lord, sorry. That special, fairly brutal, but the Pain Boy himself deals quite a lot of damage and can remain in the fight for a significant amount of time there. Should probably jump onto the CSM squad though. Does do damage over time with his kind of like chopper. I believe it's just a chopper, isn't it? But yeah, definitely don't want to be engaging the Pain Boy in melee combat if you can avoid it. The heal does go down onto the Commando Nob, but I feel like the heal should have been kind of kept for as long as possible for use on these Sluggers wherever they are back in base. But Blood Crusher is out onto the field. Boogie does have enough to start taking up to tier 2, so the Blood Crusher isn't going to be too much of an issue as long as Boogie can hold on, but he's actually making a big push with the generator farm and needs to spread out his units as much as possible, try and get as much map as possible, and make the Blood Crusher as ineffective as possible by just going everywhere else where the Blood Crusher is not. Beamy Death Gun has been queued up for these looters. Will effectively counter the Blood Crusher and will likely dissuade oLev from going for a Dreadnought. If that was on his mind, this Blood Crusher is keen for something, but doesn't really know what it wants to go for. Boogie really needs to split up his units as opposed to keeping them so grouped together. The more he splits his units, the more the Blood Crusher can't really do too much. I'm not sure what that charge was all about, but oLev charges millimeters into a building here. Does not kill the building, but doesn't really do anything either. With tier 2, a war truck could be quite useful. There are no Havocs on the field. Raptors can equip themselves with the Aspiring Champion, which does have heavy melee, and they in fact do, but even Raptors will have a hard time trying to chase down a battle wagon, or not battle wagon, sorry, that's a war truck. Heal does go down, but maybe coming in far too late there. The Blood Maul on the Chaos Lord and knocking those sluggers away. And Shooter's retreating a bit prematurely there, same with the Pain Boy. I feel like they could have remained in the fight a bit longer. Raptors didn't have enough energy to jump in. But Boogie is still massively ahead in VPs. While oLev has had the Blood Crusher on the field for a bit of time, he's not actually gained any VP advantage or bled any VPs. 480 to 276, while oLev is significantly stronger army-wise, especially with the Commander Knob also dying. He is massively behind in VPs at the moment. We need to make more of a focus on them. With tier 2 now finished for Boogie, the shooter knob leaders is also a good idea. Shooter knob leaders do provide an additional damage boost to the squad once you do reach tier 2. Can be quite effective to get, but probably worth getting a war truck first. Now, Boogie's army is fairly scary, with the Blood Crusher unable to really win the engagement due to BbBoS being set up and having some wide coverage on the map. We'll have to see what the response is. We do have some Bloodletters on the field though for oLev, and Bloodletters with the Chaos Lord support and some Raptor support can be quite scary. As long as they are being worshipped, they will get a significant amount of health regen, allowing them to remain alive. We'll see what oLev can do. It's going to be a Death Dread coming out as well. Death Dread is uncounterable at the moment with oLev's current army. Does need an additional unit to try and fight that. Looters do need to reset up into a better position. If they remain facing that position for the entire fight, it could go quite poorly there for a Boogie. Blood Crusher is able to freely advance forward. Looters are now repositioning now. It's going to be a mass retreat here for a Boogie, in fact. As they were set up the wrong way, the Death Dread is coming out there. No Burner and Bits upgrade as of yet for it. Burner and Bits does provide an additional 300 HP, as well as swapping out the guns with Flamers. Some Heretic Worship support coming in. The Death Dread will need to be a bit careful though. Although it can effectively fight units in melee, it does need to be careful of the Worshipped Blood Crusher, as it will take some time to try and finish that off. A lot of the map looking incredibly red at the moment. Only 2 points in the center, which are currently not in control of oLev, which is that VP and a power node. Sunbomb hits these Raptors. They are still affected, even though they managed to jump out, but were still inflicted with the stun there, but are quite far away, so don't take too much damage in the process, so can remain in the fight. And here comes the Foul Drain ability onto that Pain Boy. Raptors also trying to go in for the Assassinate there with their heavy melee, but taking a lot of damage. In fact, the Raptor squad is going to fall down. They're so low right now. That Slugger squad doing work in that engagement. There is some worship support, but these Bloodletters are too far away from these Heretics. Do need to pull back a little bit. The BbBoS firing onto this Blood Crusher here. Blood Crusher is going to disrupt these units. Bloodletters are going to fall back to some worship support here. They are trying to regen as much health as possible, and we'll be able to re-engage these sluggers, but I'm not sure if they will be able to win the engagement overall. The specials coming in though are definitely turning the tide of that engagement. They're down to just 3 out of 4 models, and that Knob Leader is actually doing a lot of damage. Had got knocked over, so wasn't able to do any more. Blood Crusher is going to charge on out there, as the Death Dread is still on full HP in this engagement. Blood Crusher is receiving some worship support, so Boogie will need to be a bit careful about trying to engage it, otherwise we'll need to spend a lot of time trying to repair up that Death Dread. Chaos Lord going in with these Bloodletters, but these Bloodletters are so low at the moment, are going to get forced off there. Commander not going to be able to pick off that additional model there, hitting it with his gun. And Death Dread, again, is taking so much damage, it is going to start pulling back now, and Boogie's army is back out of base, ready for another engagement. Pain Boy is now back up to full HP after he got nearly assassinated in that engagement. But Boogie is lacking a lot of control of the map at the moment, only in control of his natural power farm. Mardenov is going to be sent off to go and capture some points. Meanwhile, Shooter's going to come up a bit further forward. Going to be some Havocs called in for oLev. Did lose the Raptors in that engagement, so definitely going to be hurt when he next fights, but in fact, tier 3 immediately after the Havocs as well for oLev. Feeling confident about the map control, and does have quite a good economy in comparison to Boogie. 271 requisition income as opposed to 168. Can definitely go tier 3, but does need to be careful of these sluggers. Terminators will struggle even with just sluggers, to be honest, if they can get into the face of the Terminators. Well, it's not that they'll struggle, but it's that they could potentially lose models to sluggers, but we'll see how that decision goes. Death Dread, still no burner and bits upgrade for it yet. I believe Boogie should invest in some upgrades for his shooters and this Death Dread at this point, just to give some increased damage and some increased tankiness to this Death Dread. The upgraded shooters, the Knob Leader, just provides some additional tankiness, at the same time to provide the additional boost that you do get in their damage once you are in tier 2. Also Cannon doing a bit of work there. Could even see a shrine towards the center VP. A Corn Shrine, when worshipped, does provide additional damage to your nearby units. Commander Knob is actually designed to leave that requisition point to join the fight. Probably not a bad idea, but could also capture that requisition point just to help Boogie's economy as much as possible. Commander Knob is going to infiltrate in here, but without any upgrades, I'm not sure what he can really do to turn the tide of this battle. Can throw down a decent stun bomb, but there are Heretics worshipping there, and they do have the Aspirant Champion, meaning they are a detector unit. It's going to be double worship here, not that it does stack. Heretic worship stacks in the sense that you can give, well, the Heretics worshipping themselves don't receive a bonus, but if you have 2 Heretics worshipping, the worshipping Heretics get that bonus, but worshipping Heretics are idle units and don't really benefit from a speed boost, so both players are set up and not really wanting to break either side. A Weird Boy was purchased though, so Weird Boy will be able to break this defensive position that oLev has got set up here. At the same time, oLev is going to have enough resources in this next engagement to call down some Chaos Terminators, but could also ultra a Great Unclean One, or even a Land Raider Phobos if he so decides. But the engagement is going to go down. Painboy heals up the sluggers before the engagement starts, so the heal is not available for these sluggers now. I'm not sure. The Swarm ability is going to get used, reducing the incoming range damage to these sluggers by 40%. Chaos Terminators have now been called down. Weird Boy is going to miss their shots against these Havocs that are set up here. Commander Knob does have the Kaboom abilities, but is going to get stopped in place there by the Chaos Lord with the Foul Drain ability, and these units going in. It's not really working out here for a Boogie at all. GG is going to be called. The Death Dread is also going to fall to these Chaos Terminators. Blood Crusher is also hammering away here. Weird Boy, I don't believe he got off his shouts in that engagement, but the engagement didn't really go too well there for a Boogie. Trying to come in from a different position could have definitely helped out, but GG is going to be called. oLev is going to advance to the next round. That does mean that oLev is going to be facing Oceans 8 Alaska in the next round of the losers brackets, which is going to be losers round 3.